There were people demonstrating outside today, and I was the only Assembly member to attend. I know the campaigners found that very, very disappointing. In total, there are over 100,000 people who have signed various petitions about this. And I'd like to start with an indisputable fact, because by allowing the 300,000 tonnes of mud from outside Hinkley Point to be dumped in Welsh waters, we are enabling the UK and Chinese government to build a nuclear power station. Now, Plaid Cymru is completely opposed to nuclear power because if we look at very recent history, Fukushima, Chernobyl, further back, 3 Mile Island, we're always told that nuclear energy is safe, but accidents keep on occurring. And I'm glad to hear that there is opposition from Plaid Cymru to this proposal today. I'm also happy to give way if maybe Llafur would like to give a clear statement opposing the new nuclear reactor in Ynys Môn. No?
I think I've told you before, I decide who gives way and who takes interventions. You carry on with your speech and I'll decide on the interventions. Okay.
Well, it's a fact that the dumping of mud will allow the nuclear power station to be built. So what is Wales getting out of it? What are we getting out of this deal? And the answer is a big fat zero. Dim byd. Nothing. Nada. Nothing at all. So England is dumping their nuclear mud on Wales, and this government is accepting it, this Labour government in Wales. I'm almost speechless. How can that be allowed to happen? If it's so safe, dump it in the Thames. If nuclear energy is so safe, locate those reactors in the southeast of England. Now, let's look at London. Let's look at the precautionary principle as mentioned earlier, because according to the European Commission, the precautionary principle can be invoked when the full risk is not known. Now, the truth of this matter is nobody in this chamber knows if this mud is safe. Nobody knows. Now, it's worth repeating the testing done below 5 centimetres, 300,000 tonnes of mud, and just five samples taken in 2009, and the raw data has been disposed of. As I said earlier, only gamma testing was done. Now, scientists advise me that some types of plutonium don't give out gamma. And if you look at Kosovo, the testing done in the mud there, they've done 3 types of testing, which is alpha spectrometry, plasma mass spectrometry, and the one type of spectrometry carried out on the mud outside Hinkley Point. So what is good enough for Kosovo should be good enough for Wales. Also, if you look at the figures on the data given from 2009, Natural Resources Wales are wrong. They're simply incorrect, because if you look at the data, it's there in black and white. There is an increase in radioactivity the lower you go. The lower you go. And if you look at the data from 2015, if you apply the difference, then you could be getting beyond the de minimis above safe levels. I met with Natural Resources Wales in September, and to be perfectly frank, they could give me virtually no answers to the questions I posed. They knew nothing about the testing regime, they knew nothing about where the mud was going to end up, and it's deplorable that the agency looking after the environment in Wales has no expertise in these matters. If this material is unsafe, and I say if it's unsafe, those particles will travel 10 miles inland. 10 miles inland. So I think it's very reasonable to say, retest the mud. It will cost £100,000 out of a £40,000 million project. It's absolutely a reasonable thing to ask, and I ask that the Minister directs NRW to suspend the licence until retesting is done. It's a perfectly reasonable thing to ask. Diolch yn fawr.
Thank you. Can I now call the Cabinet Secretary for Energy Planning and Rural Affairs, Leslie Griffiths?
I must be mindful of the Welsh Minister's role in relation to marine licensing appeals, and as such, it is not appropriate for me to comment on specifics of marine licensing decisions. The marine licensing determination process provides for a thorough and robust assessment of proposed activities, including consideration of the need to protect the marine environment and human health. I can assure everyone all marine licence applications are considered in line with legal requirements set out within Part 4 of the Marine and Coastal Access Act 2009 and the Marine Works Environmental Impact Assessment Regulations 2007. Yes.
But would you accept, as I'm advised by scientists, I'm not a scientist, that some kinds of plutonium will not be identified by the beta testing? And very simply, why wasn't the alpha spectrometry done and the plasma mass spectrometry, as in Kosovo on mud?
I'm reassured that CFAS, who carried out this assessment for NRW, are working to the highest international standards, and that's what reassures me.